Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're breaking down one of the most misunderstood, heavily debated, and aggressively shorted stocks in the entire market right now, Plug Power. To the average investor, Plug looks like a disaster. A collapsing stock price, years of losses, extreme volatility, and non-stop talk of dilution, negative cash flow, and a business model that will never work. But behind that surface-level chaos, something very different and far more interesting is happening. Because despite all the controversy, Plug Power just pulled off one of its most important financial moves in years. This is not a small detail. This single move directly challenges the narrative that Plug Power is on the verge of bankruptcy or completely shut out of capital markets. Today, we're going to break down 1. What's really happening under the surface at Plug Power. 2. Why Wall Street is so divided on this stock. 3. How the short sellers built a massive position and what they're betting on. 4. Where the company is actually executing. 5. And what the long-term road looks like for Plug Power in the green hydrogen race. This is not hype. This is not fear. This is a full, data-driven breakdown of one of the most polarizing companies in the market. Let's get into it. For months, Plug Power has been treated like a company circling the drain. A stock trading near its 52-week lows. A business burning through cash. And a company whose critics claim that no institution will ever lend them money again. But then Plug did exactly what the bears said was impossible. Not through a desperate equity offering, not through a toxic financing arrangement, but through convertible notes, a structure typically reserved for companies that institutions believe will survive. And even more importantly, that means lower interest burden, more short-term liquidity, and extra time to execute its long-term plan. This move didn't fix everything, but it did prove one huge point. Plug Power can still access large pools of capital, something essential in a capital-intensive industry like green hydrogen. If Plug truly had no future, if Plug were really weeks away from bankruptcy, no institution would touch them. But they did, and not with pennies, but with nearly $400 million. This is the first major crack in the collapse narrative. Most people think Plug Power is still a fuel cell company for forklifts. That was its past. Today, Plug Power is building something completely different. PM fuel cell manufacturing, electrolyzer manufacturing, green hydrogen production plants, hydrogen storage and logistics, large-scale industrial hydrogen delivery. This is not a simple business. This is not a low-cost business. This is infrastructure, the same kind of long-term high-capex build-out that defined wind energy, electric vehicle charging, semiconductor fabs, and even oil and gas pipelines. These industries were all massively unprofitable in the early years, but the companies that survived early losses became giants later. That's the exact phase Plug is in today. They are transitioning from that leap requires billions in infrastructure, and that's where the pressure comes from. Plug's latest earnings report was complicated. On one hand, they slightly beat expectations on non-GAAP EPS. Operating cash burn improved by more than 50% quarter over quarter. Electrolyzer sales grew 46% sequentially, and major hydrogen projects hit real deployment milestones. But on the other hand, revenue came in below expectations. Negative gross margins continued, and the market punished the results instantly. The stock dropped sharply. Then something unusual happened. Why? Analysts pointed to one metric. That suggests Plug's internal cost-cutting program, Quantum Leap, might actually be working. This volatility, a huge crash followed by a fast rebound, shows the reality of Plug's investor base. They are watching two different movies. Despite all the negativity, Plug Power is executing on some of the most important green hydrogen projects in the world. The strongest example: this isn't a pilot. This isn't a proposal. This is a real, large-scale project powered